Next, we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of people have been talking about since, the beginning of the offseason. It took him a while to make a decision, but he finally did. And that's that man, Aaron Rodgers. In Pittsburgh, does he move the needle in Pittsburgh? I'm not convinced. I think that when we look at Aaron Rodgers, his time in the NFL, I think has definitely passed him by. I think he's at a point in his career where, I don't necessarily know that he's going to go out and win you games. Is that me saying that Aaron Rodgers can't go win games? No. But when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers depth chart, I mean, it's not that much more impressive than the Jets. You switch out DK Metcalf for, Garrett Wilson. You get Calvin Austin and Robert Woods back there instead of the guys at the Jets. The offensive line isn't that much better than the Jets. And then Jaylen Warren did some good things, but, the Jets had a pretty decent run game. They just seem very similar to me. And even defensively, the Jets were good defensively against the run. The Niners were in the middle of were middle of the road. The Niners were good at getting after the quarterback, but outside of that, I don't know. I do think that the 49ers definitely have a better defense than the Jets. You look at, Patrick Queen, TJ Watt, if he resigns and comes back to Pittsburgh, and you bring in Darius Slay, who adds a veteran presence. I mean, a lot of people say that Darius Slay's a little bit older, but he's coming off of one of his best statistical years in man coverage with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Darius Slay still has things to add to Pittsburgh. But in terms of Aaron Rodgers, I don't necessarily know that Aaron Rodgers is going to turn Pittsburgh into this well-oiled machine. You still got to play Baltimore twice in that all-star defense. You got to play the Bengals that are going to go toe-for-toe with you on the offensive side of the ball. And then you got the Browns that usually play their division pretty tough. So I don't know. We're going to have to see what Aaron Rodgers can get done. I think that, like I said, he's past the point of changing games as a quarterback. Interesting to see if he can take the Pittsburgh Steelers further than Russell Wilson did.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested to see what he does. Based off what I've seen in the Jets, I don't think that's the true Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, I think he had a very bad year, very bad coaching stuff behind him. Could have been a bad playbook calls. It may not even been the talent issues. It could have been the playbook style, because he does have to maintain the playbook calls, because that's what the coach is paid to do. He has to do it. He has to follow rules, and he has to lead his team the best he can with the calls that he's allowed to have. So with that being said, Mike Tomlin, one of the most successful winning coaches in the league. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be an okay fit for them. I think we're going to see more productivity and accuracy out of Aaron Rodgers, especially with some of the weapons that they have. However, I don't think he's the reigning answer. I think he's the bridge across the gap for the next year's draft to pick up some formidable quarterbacks.
Right. Can he teach Will Howard? He's a good guy for Will Howard to learn from. Because I do think Will Howard is going to get the reins next year, because Aaron Rodgers has already come out and said this will be his last year in the NFL.
Correct. Will Howard, he just won a national title, and he's so slept on as a quarterback. I think he had a very strong team around him. It was a massive coaching staff, a massive successful specialty position team for him to be as successful as he was, but he is a really good secondary defensive read quarterback. And I think that would really, really fit under Mike Tomlin's scheme, right?
That's a good thing to think about.
Running back, split I formation quarterback, double tight end. He has a lot of weapons that he can pass to. And if they go back,
I'm excited to watch him play with Pat Freiermuth. I think that that's going to be a very, 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 very good team up, because, in my opinion, Pat F is one of the best possession tight ends in the league right now.
Well, think about this. If DK stays there, right, and DK does really well this year and does even better next year, and Howard does start, you're going to tell me that Howard, with a semi-accurate arm in comparison to everyone in the league, can't just throw up the ball and have DK just jump up and get it? He
did it at Ohio State with Jeremiah Smith.
That's what I'm saying. How is that not even comparison? It is. It's a perfect comparison.
Yeah, I think it's going to be down to can the Steelers defense be as dominant as it normally is? Can they get a consistent run game to take a little bit of pressure off of Aaron Rodgers? Because if you back up and give Aaron Rodgers the opportunity, he'll pick you apart. He's shown that he can do that.
Do you think that getting rid of Najee was the right answer for the Steelers?
I thought that Jaylen Warren had a better year than Najee did. I think Najee will flourish with the Chargers. I think that's a perfect system.
I agree. Yeah.
Very excited to see what happens over there.